Good evening, Sacred Grounds.
Good evening, Martin Jolson.
Usually another poet has to die before I read their poems here at the Sacred Grounds. But this is not that case. I got my annual disbursement of poems from my good friend Ken Okuno yesterday, and so I'm going to read you one of his, assuring you that he is very much alive. This one is called Just So People Can Dance. My dad went through his fishing stuff before he took to the bed of compassion, held his old bamboo creel that saw 1,000 fish. Man, I sure had a lot of fun with this. I felt the emotion of clear mountains, high altitude sun, creek willows, the stream, the freedom, the mystery, mostly the freedom, the joy, the rush, fish too. For men, there must be a prize. For me, there are these guitars I've kept 50 years. Not the wood and steel and plastic, but the bandmates and the gigs, the funky dives, the absurd show business moments, the transcendent beauty when hardly anyone else noticed. It grooved, just so people could dance. A thing like Dharma that you have to experience after much practice. Can't explain it, how we were so beautiful in our innocence and our imperfection. The recently deceased would understand, all who elected to enter into life, embracing physical pain and limitation. Now they see clearly the whole idea is to know the spirit in the body, in the river, in the groove, to transcend the physical through the physical, to feel the absolute in the relative, fishing in the mountains, playing funky gigs, hearing pine needles hit the roof, and years later on the sky ridge, hearing the dakinis sing. I looked at my old Strat like my dad looked at his creel. He had 80 years against long odds. He knew when he hit a groove, just so he could dance. Then I will read you one more from Mr. Ken Okuno. This one is called Another Jesus. For the downtrodden who don't believe, or the uplifted who won't bow, all the perfect and the weak ones who won't get on that train, please give us another Jesus. Are we not worthy as unwashed thieves, though we cannot bend our knees to pray? Another Jesus whose grace is not so clear-eyed, but whose mercy is beyond believing, whose heaven shows us just enough love, whose compassion beyond our imagining is tempered. A little is all we need, sweet Jesus. We are grateful for the heaven that you made, though we know we cannot stay long. Here comes the ripening by which we fall like a rain of hot fruit in midsummer. To another earth, another life as we take our frail bodies for another chance. Maybe do it right this time. Then the veil closes our eyes and we forget we are blessed as hummingbirds, hungry for the nectar of our own hearts. Golden beings before the cladding of blood and bones, ego and cleverness, so we have forgotten. And if our stay on earth does not result in full salvation, are we not descended from the very emanation of compassion? Please, give us another Jesus, though we cannot bend our knees to pray, a Jesus of sufficient grace, a Jesus of greater mercy, a Jesus of tepid power, whose light shines just warm enough to raise us once again to the place we started, where at least our wounds, which we endure and bear with pride, our downfall can finally feel the truly light touch that will save us anyway.
Martin,
Thank you.
how do you spell Okino?
O-K-U-N-O, or as I call it, a fine Irish name.
Oh, fine Irish name.